Welcome to In a Minute. I'm Robin Heiskell, and we are reading through the Gospel of Matthew, one chapter a day, 5 days a week. Today, our reading is Matthew chapter 15. But before we read, let's talk about what's going on at this time in Matthew's narrative. The more Jesus' ministry grew, the more he came in conflict with the religious leaders in Israel of that time. In chapter 15, they actually sought Jesus out to challenge him concerning the failure of his followers to wash their hands when they eat. It helps to understand the scribes and Pharisees were making this accusation based on the tradition of the elders and not the law of Moses given in the Old Testament. These traditions were based on human interpretation of the law. The leaders were so caught up with these traditions that they were placing more importance on them than on the actual God-given law. Jesus answers their accusation with an actual commandment from the Word, pointing out that the scribes and Pharisees were failing to fulfill the fifth commandment to honor their parents. He referred to their tradition to excuse themselves from helping their parents in need by dedicating their possessions to God. This tradition created a loophole for them to shirk responsibility and be selfish with their finances while making them appear holy. But Jesus calls them out, and he made it clear to them and us that it's not about the outside appearances, it's always about the heart. Then Jesus travels outside Jewish territory and has an interesting encounter with a Gentile woman. Now, a Gentile is anyone who is not Jewish. Jesus' initial response to the woman may seem harsh to us, but remember, Jesus' mission was first to Israel. As a Gentile, the woman would have no claim to a Jewish Messiah. But remember, Jesus is all-knowing, so he knew what was in her heart. He uses this encounter to showcase a shining example of tenacious faith, the kind of faith he honors by granting her requests. Then while still in Gentile territory, Jesus does it again. He supernaturally feeds a bunch of people with just a little food. We see here God's compassion not just for Israel, but for all peoples from all nations. Throughout the entire Bible, we can find that God's plan of salvation and eternal life was to extend to all human beings. But don't take my word for it. Read it for yourself.